Welcome back everybody to GR Industries Gaming, and today, wait, what the hell? Okay, so today we're going to be reviewing this starship here, the Tango. Now, this ship is actually pretty old. It's like, I think like over a year old, definitely. And here we are in this world. Now that is not part of it, that is just my testing. And what I want to talk about in this ship, first of all, is the design. So, one of the things I really like is I do like the kind of irregular hexagon shape, and I do like the X. It looks really good. So I'm going to be looking at every little bit of the ship. The Tango sign seems to have fallen off for some reason. I didn't do that. Now, what I really like about this ship is I like how there is very little of the ship itself that is bland. And so even here you have like the guy recoloring some of the blocks so they look a little bit cool. So it's like a little bit of detail, kind of a very kind of Pixar art style where you just kind of have some colors to make it look interesting. In here in between, right, the guy actually decided to separate the ship into different compartments, and see here because everything just looks really a bit unique. Each compartment is the same shape, but the paint job is different, making it seem a little bit more unique, and that is really cool. The ship I think is also completely vanilla, so it's really cool. Overall, the ship's also very good, well defended. Well, not completely well defended, but it does have enough guns to be, okay in combat. I do think there still is a lack of forward guns, so a player could potentially approach this ship very easily and probably come in here and just hide. Like the guy could literally hide right here, and you probably won't even notice it or her. So basically, the ship is quite vulnerable to attack, but it doesn't matter because the ship is supposed to be kind of a flush ship. And over here, I do love the amount of detail. I do love how pretty much every single bit of the ship, like even this big area right here, has always got some detail, some bit popping out. So the artist, I guess, that made the ship is just really trying to basically make everything stand out, make everything have some kind of detail, some kind of thing to it, to make it look interesting. Like even down here, the guy put a paint. Well, I assume it's a guy. The person put a paint job, the artist, here that makes it look really interesting. And then on the other side there isn't. So the ship seems to be a little bit weird in that sense. I don't know if this is just a glitch, but it seems like you don't have it on the other side. Now you have the laser antenna at the front and the back, and also you have this bit right here. There's honestly one of my least favorite bits on the ship, on the outside at least, because it just looks a bit too random, and I think that's what it is. It's supposed to be extra detail, but it's so random that it just looks a bit weird. Like from the outside it looks okay, but then when you get close, you really realize how random it is, and it just doesn't look right. Otherwise, though, the rim of the ship looks really good. There's once again a hexagon design here. There's a slightly bent hexagon up here and another hexagon up here. So clearly, the shapes on the ship are supposed to be hexagon based. There's also the ship is also got these antennas on rotors like that. The extra little bit of detail, extra little bit of stuff, and it's even got some stuff at the bottom. It's also a bit random, but it does look a little bit better. And a random refinery, that kind of stuff at the bottom of the ship here, just to add a little bit more detail at the bottom. Now, another weird thing about the ship is it's also quite difficult to get into. I do really like the top. It does look really nice. It's kind of like a Y shape, but like without being complete. I do think I could make some tweaks to make it look better, but I'm not going to do them. Anyway, so as far as I know, this is the only way into the ship. I might be wrong, but I literally was flying around for like 5 minutes and I could not find another way in. So, we just vented the room, and now we come in here. Now immediately we see this, and this is really, really nice. I really do like it. And yes, this video is probably going to go on for like 50 minutes, but we're going to go over pretty much every design aspect of the ship. So, I really do like how, again, like the detailing, how like, now, obviously, one of the things that I must mention as well is I do have a mod called Edges Be Gone, and this mod is probably making the ship look a little bit better than it should because it's basically making edges not be there, but I think it just looks better overall. Up here on the roof, we have the same kind of Y shape, kind of X shape as well. That looks it's really the star for the ship itself. It's like you have this kind of shape palette, and the guy's just kind of basing it off of. So it's kind of like very inspired by, you think about it, like even a Lamborghini with its Y shapes and hexagons and pentagons. This ship does have a lot of those. So it seems to be inspired by that kind of design. It really is inspired by nature, so that's what the ship is inspired by. I do love the little bump here, how there's a little bit of detail, and I do love the feeling of the ship. I do love how this is like just got this massive amount of lights around, and it just looks so good in my opinion. It really does make me give a good feel. The lights flashing, I don't know if that's a bug or it's intentional. I think it's probably a bug with the game, or maybe that mod or something. I do have a lot of mods installed on this one, but even a bunch of stuff that even a bunch of mods that I'm not using. Now immediately we go down here, and it seems like this is airtight, or maybe this has been pressurizing for a while. I think this has been pressurizing for a while, and this is a little bit slow as a piston. But then we go over here to what I'm going to be calling the workshop. So then we're going to go back up there to review some stuff up there later on, and maybe come back, or maybe not. Well, we're going to get there eventually. So immediately down here we do have some bottom vents that actually is really cool. It adds more detail, and I do love how the interior, how these blocks here are flipped. You can see that these are supposed to be the interior kind of plate, and this is the right side up, and this is the upside down. And see the guys use these different, the same kind of block but in different ways to make it look interesting. Now this is a really good area. Like, I really love this, the feel of this room. It looks so good, and it just makes it, it would make me feel a lot more happy, a lot more safe to build a ship inside. It's buried deep inside the hull and giving protection, serious protection from enemy, from the enemy. Well, we'll test that out later, okay? Because I'm going to shoot this ship later on purpose, just to see how good it is in combat. So, anyway. So this ship is pretty cool. I do love how they see, like, the guys put upside down blocks and right side up blocks up there, but I think it's because they're upside down and they look up there. Now, over here we can open the door, and we actually have an automatic door, so this prevents you from, I guess, depressurizing too many rooms. And then we go in here. Now, I do really love the kind of glass feeling. Now, remember, I am also using another mod that is the clear glass mod. That means that the glass is clear. So these are like little mods that kind of enhance the look of the game, but they don't actually change any of the blocks. And I think there is maybe some kind of mod glitching at the light or something. Down here we have a really nice kind of like computer room almost. These are like timer blocks, probably, with the lights flashing with those. I do like how the ship does have a kind of pentagon-like look to it. Like you can tell the interior can be like a pentagon shape, but it doesn't. Like, the guy actually managed to make it look more unique. There's a lot of open space. There's a lot of open vents. And I really do like that feel of the ship, the fact that it has so many open vents and exposed systems, but it doesn't look bad. It looks, maybe because it's so different. It isn't like most things where it's like, oh, it's just a big pipe. There's always something different. It's like there's a connector here, there's some lights there, and, it looks really good. Now here we are, and this is the main kind of, I guess, the habitation deck. Now up here, this is another very unique corridor design. I've never really seen this corridor design before. Remember, this is the first time I'm reviewing the ship, so I don't really know. And we do seem to have a bit of a gap showing down, like, lower levels. And I don't know if that's like a maintenance level, but it looks like to me it's just just kind of a room down, almost like a drain. Here we have a door open to space. Well, not really. It's actually this piece of glass right here. You can't see it, but that is supposed to be a door. I guess it's supposed to close in case of combat. So it kind of gives a little bit more protection, but the ship is obviously very vulnerable to attack. And I really don't like the windows because they're a little bit too small. I mean, honestly, I really want to see a massive windows, but at the same time, that will seriously compromise the ship's endurance in combat. Now, overall, we have enormous amounts of detail, and this is a standard kind of pentagon corridor, but then the guy maybe looked at it and said, you know what, we're going to put some curves, or we're going to put some batteries, and now it looks really, really cool. There's more and more detail, and some batteries that are a little bit pointless in some sense. Now, let's analyze. Now, this ship, it's not symmetrical, so over here we have a B deck, cryo bay, and this is exactly here. Now, this says, pretty sure this actually shows over there, like, if you're inside the cryo chamber. And I do like that little detail. I think it does say yes or no. It might say so, but I think if it does, that is an extra little detail. I mean, it's not really necessary because, to be honest, like, most players are probably not going to be like, if you're going to be playing with multiple players on the ship, they're probably not going to be in cryopods just chilling, unless, I don't know, you're just waiting and everyone's waiting, like they just went to sleep or something and you just left the people in there just waiting for some reason. I don't know. Basically, but I do love the extra detail. Now over here as well, we see this amazing window over here to the top kind of area that I will get back to. And this is, I think, an incredible amount of detail. This gives you that kind of really cool feeling. You're not just in a cooped up little room that's like super cramped, super tiny. You actually could see the the top levels, and it looks so cool. And I really do like it. This makes me feel a lot bigger. Makes the whole ship feel a lot more open. It makes it feel like I'm not like being crammed and like some sardine or something. Over here we have the refinery room. The refinery room does have some efficiency modules. I would have all yield modules, but this I think is like the refinery goes all the way down to the floor of the ship, like the one you saw. So, um, and I think this is the only refinery ship really has. So this is for production. The ship is actually pretty bad, but to be honest, this ship is supposed to be kind of like a cargo ship. I guess the production is like just in case, I don't know, like if you're role playing, maybe some things broke down, and then you have to get it. So this is another door to the same room. These doors are not kind of self-closing doors, maybe because you couldn't fit like a sensor there or something. So I gotta remember to close it. Now further down we have a medical bay. Now this room really looks quite nice. That the lights look really cool. And once again you have another open design that really makes you feel less cramped. We have a gravity generator. It looks like a medical bay obviously, and then you got some this diagram right here showing hull integrity 99%, system stats, cryos and thrusters. I assume this is all correct, but and then obviously here we've got a view of the ship itself, what it looks like from both sides. I think this is supposed to be the top, and it's supposed to be the side of the ship that we saw outside over there. But there are some little bits of it missing, but that doesn't really, or maybe they're there, but they just because it's in 2D, you can't really see them. Now going up here we have a briefing room. Now this is like almost like a briefing room. Oh, it is a briefing room, but it is once again the open design. I do like how there's oxygen containers here. I do love how the guy who made this decided to essentially just put expose normally like internal systems like life support, like oxygen tanks, refineries, and decide to make them quite open, quite exposed. I think that does look really cool. It does give you like a much better feeling. And this is another thing that I do want to put into my ships. Once again, you have this kind of like perfect hybrid of triangles. It's kind of perfect. I don't know if this is intentional, but you got kind of this perfect hybrid of like sharp angles and like really curvy shapes. I'm not sure that's supposed to be intentional, but the briefing room here could also be used as like a cinema or something. And then over here we have the autopilot airlocks, I guess. That's exactly what it says there. Now actually it closes. Once again, here we have the looks at the computer room. So this is, I think, this is hydrogen electrolysis reactor. So I think this is the hydrogen oxygen generator. Very, very, very important system right here. And then we have also a bunch of computers here and a sensor. It looks like they don't really need to be pressurized, but I guess in case you need to. It looks like the ship now has become symmetrical. It looks like. No, maybe not. Maybe this is a view of this deck. I don't know. It looks like we're at the end of the deck here. The end here. That's about it, really. And then I think over here we have a level that goes down. All the way down here. And this is another level. This is level, well, airlock A axis. This is a docking airlock. Okay, so this is one of the airlocks, apparently. Oh yeah, here it is. So this is a docking airlock. This looks pretty cool. The only thing I would say this is missing is probably like more obvious coloring. Like I would like to make it a little bit yellow, so just pull a little more attention as like a way into the ship. It could be kind of a good thing or a bad thing at the same time, depending if your friends are trying to get in or trying to get invaded, depending what's happening. And also, I would like to see like a connector underneath here connecting as well, because you know, there's not much point in docking if you're not going to transfer resources. So, but I do like how, because of this design, I'm pretty sure a person could dock their ship if they have like, well, a pretty long connector, and then they could theoretically just, you know, walk between the ships and not have to worry at all about depressurizing the whole ship. But not a very practical position. I would put it off in the side somewhere. And we're back here. Now, okay, so this is another airlock. This is the aft airlock or whatever. And this is another airlock right here. So this is just a little airlock at the bottom. Very well hidden, I have to say. That is a very well hidden airlock right there. Very annoying. And then we do have a lot of nice windows here as well. So it's already 15 minutes and I've really not gone through the ship. But obviously it's quite huge. And I do want to talk about pretty much everything. I really do like the feel. Like I said, once again, the oxygen system, the guy clearly has a kind of top pattern. Over here we have the forward, this is like the forward bridge. And once again, an enormous amount of detail. We have kind of a small ship grid here, adding more detail. So we have all these computer opens, computer systems, and we do have a seat here for a guy to sit. And you see here, look at the entire ship. And this is a lot of detail. I really do like this. And the way it's set up, the lighting as well, it looks really nice. And the speakers, so it is very realistic. And you do have this nice ramp, and you would have like other people sitting here, maybe reaching out somehow to those panels, or maybe looking at them and controlling them with their eyes, I don't know. But it does look quite cool. Over here we have some seats, maybe for people waiting to talk to the captain or whatever. And then we do have a nice view to the underneath section of the ship. Now obviously the ship is not symmetrical, so it must have been very annoying for the guy to make it, because it means that like he had to actually make it like just mirror everything, because it's like not symmetrical. Very nice. And then once again the kind of pentagon style corridor, but this time I kind of cut it in half. Once again another common design thing, kind of cutting shapes in half. Over here we're going to deck A. And this is just the back. This is just where we were again. So, so once again, let's actually go all the way up again. There is a lot of space to go up, and then I think we're going to walk all the way over to the back of the ship again. So, and maybe take a quick look at the kind of like hangar, kind of like big cargo container area. So. It's over here. Oh my gosh, I accidentally opened that door. Okay, I did vent pretty much the entire ship. Anyway, just to prove that this is a nice little room right here. Cool, right? Yeah, it's a quite nice little room for maybe kind of like building ships as well. It's down there. That's like repairing ships, like to think about. Over here we do have all the open areas that are symmetrical in here, and we do have this really nice lighting at the back and this really nice kind of look to it. But up here we have a top deck. Oh gosh. And this is the cargo container area. Now this area looks amazing. Once again, it does have an octagon kind of shape to it, with a lot of grids to add detail. And I do like how the guy put the lights down here to add more kind of like a feeling of like the ship, and then up here we have the lights coming through the grids, kind of casting, or at least supposed to be casting, I guess, some kind of striped shadow, but it just seems like it is a bit glitchy. And then this is the cargo container. Now, not very efficient, obviously, but I do like how the ship feels. And up here you do have kind of like a Y shape again, but an incomplete Y shape, just kind of a V shape, really. And that looks pretty cool. Up here we do have some more cargo containers, and this is like just, I guess it's just a top grade here, but realistically it's not like, I think this might be pressurized, but pretty much not anything else. So. And now this is where we went into like an actually pressurized environment. I think this is still trying to pressurize, or maybe not. This area here is still open. Okay, this is still the same area. Got more cargo containers, like maybe these are smaller ones to move around. One thing is, and I do like how like you could actually imagine kind of grabbing a cargo container and kind of moving it out through here, and that looks really cool. Now this is the top deck here. Here we have the jump drive room, and once again, this looks really cool. So instead of just being a bunch of jump drives kind of like in a row, like most ships, you have the jump drives visible at the top, and that looks pretty damn cool in my opinion. And I do like the purplish look of the room. It does look really cool. So say jump drive, but I guess it's supposed to be jump drives. But I guess the idea is like you could imagine us having one jump drive. Here, over here we have private quarters, and I do like how the guys put, I guess, a display. It's like almost like a desk. Very creative. Okay, can you not crouch, please, game? Okay, there we go. And this is like another screen here as another desk, I guess. And this is, I don't know what this is supposed to be. And then they do have some more quarters here. They do have a repair room. It's got like tons of little things right here. All this little like antenna that you could imagine as like some kind of laser welder or something, and this little ball things around, and a small ship grid, just making it look really cool, adding detail. Like I could tell that this is supposed to look like almost like a fuse box or something. And I guess it makes sense because you can imagine having a repair guy in here, and maybe he's like managing the fuses and stuff. It makes sense that you have fuses on the starship, just because you don't really want things to explode because of a high voltage caused by something. This is a very interesting rear shape. So this is the stairwell that seems to go to every deck. Cool. And over here we have the observation room. We have a massive, really standard, not very creative corridor here, but it looks pretty cool anyway. Maybe because of this, the details here. This seems to actually lead to a lower level, not just whatever. And this is the observation deck, and this is, I guess, not really a bridge. It's kind of like, yeah, really just an observation deck. Cool. So maybe that is pretty much a conclusion. Now, overall, I'm really happy with the ship. The ship's design, it looks really good. And I definitely want to be in a ship like this. So we're just going to bust out of it. And now it's time for the combat endurance test. So we're going to spawn a ship, and we're going to see how it does up in combat. So now done a review, and I really do love the look of the ship. It looks so good. Like I like how pretty much like 98% of the ship has a lot of detail to it. And, like you could tell the guy didn't really want to do much blind things at all. So I do want to spawn in like a really kind of crazy ship, and just seriously damage the ship just to see how it would deal, how the whole damage would affect. Now obviously I'm not going to be turning on its guns because I really don't want to get shot, but I do want to see how it would stand up. Now I'm hoping that those don't get shot over there because they're just, well. Yeah, but maybe I'll make all these evil, and then they'll just not bother me. I might seriously regret this. Where's the nuclear reactor on this thing? Because I better take it out in case it goes nuts. And then we're going to just basically abuse the hell out of this ship and just... Yeah. So this is actually generally in a combat situation. So the ship, maybe a little ship sneak up. I know it's not a ship, I know it's like a rover, but it's really the only thing I've got in my inventory that automatically fires. So we're going to call that, we're going to say that was taken out. That was pretty good, I have to say. That was decent. I mean, sure, like there are ships that could destroy that in seconds, but that's good. The damage that was taken was fairly minor. The cargo container here was damaged, and over here we have another cargo container that was damaged but not destroyed. So in reality, the ship is actually done pretty well. So basically, this is the attack against a small, I guess, simulated like a really quite powerful fighter. So you have like a heavy armored fighter that has a couple of missile launchers. That will be a really powerful ship that is static for some reason. That would be the first test, and that was pretty good. That was actually really good because this kind of damage can be repaired pretty easily. And I'm just gonna like get some like pure tools and just repair it. So if I want to repair this, just to show it as an example. There we go. So realistically, I just have to weld stuff up, and the only blocks that are really missing, that's really the annoying bit, are these. So realistically, repairing this would cost basically nothing. It would cost a little bit of steel, and that's just really cheap. So, yeah, big deal. Anyway, so obviously now we could do some more serious combat situations. If you're gonna do it, maybe it's innocent, and you're gonna do it against a normal fighter, just to damage it a little bit more to see what would happen. No, screw it, just suicide bomb into it. Obviously the armor is extremely weak and can be breached very easily with a single Gatling turret, I think I have. Yeah, a single Gatling turret is breaching the armor, like, it's just dough. So, yeah, this is a single Gatling turret focusing fire. And once again, not a big deal. Oh gosh. Oh, this is a secret little gyroscope room, looks like I found. Then in here we have like the standard... Okay, in here we have another kind of random room that was never used. That's a bit weird. And there isn't a lot of stuff in here. So I guess you wouldn't put... If you were building this in survival, you probably want to fill this up with gyroscopes or something, I guess. Now, the fact that there are random rooms with nothing inside would probably indicate that this guy actually didn't plan very much. He kind of just... Maybe he kind of had a basic vision in his head of what the ship's going to look like, and he kind of just, you know, rolled with it, and then, you know, hope it looks good, I guess. And, yeah, I guess that's the thing. Although it looks really good, maybe a little bit more planning would be nice. Now let's just say that you had a little bit more armor, a little bit more attack power. So this is, I don't know, you got taken out after a couple of seconds, maybe because you were firing about. So that is if you put like 30 Gatling turrets on the fighter, and that is catastrophic damage. So here we breached the inside of the ship, the top kind of engineering area that is pretty close to the hangar deck, that makes sense, has been catastrophically damaged. One thing about doing this with the ship is you actually get to understand like where things are. Like it's getting a little bit hard to kind of understand where you are on the ship and like where, like, you know, what is directly below, what is directly above you. But if you do this, you kind of really understand. Like you go, okay, that's here. So the ship's hull, as you see here, against that kind of beating, was just shredded. So when it comes to protection of cargo, the ship is really not very good at that stuff. But it is supposed to be like a civilian vessel, really. So it's not supposed to be like some crazy, you know, vehicle that you could just be like some crazy. They could, you know, stand, you know, massive maniacs like me shooting up ships because I don't know, I'm bored. Or really, it's more. If you think about it more as like an experiment. So this is already stupid. Let's just say the player put 100 guns on this little ship, and he's like, you know what? I feel like. And this would definitely lag out a server. This seems insane. Okay. So against that kind of hyper attack, the ship got chopped in half. Pretty much. Okay, not really. But it did suffer pretty substantially. See the engine area. Apparently have a lot of engines that are just hiding, going upward thrusters, so they put the guy put them inside the ship, I guess to hide them so they don't look bad on the outside. Very smart for him to do that instead of just using kind of tiered thrusters. It's pretty cool. And then this is at the reactor room, the only room I really missed, but I guess I didn't really miss it because I blew it up. But I see here, the reactors at least are very well protected. I mean, they're not insanely well protected, but they are pretty well protected as long as. Okay, I take that back. If you attack it from, if you actually attack this from the back, you have like what, like 4 blocks of armor. That's okay, but still. Okay, it's actually better than most ships actually. So the reactors are pretty safe. In there somewhere. Well, over there. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review slash ship attack kind of thing. This is kind of what I'm constantly doing. I know that was a bit unfair because like the ship was like not shooting back at me. So like, but yeah, but it just shows how the ship could be shredded really easily. But again, this is, you know, against that kind of stuff. Like you would not be able to survive, you know, things like this, like for very long. So that's understandable. Unless you have like full heavy armor and you're moving super quickly and the ship could barely, you know, fire at you, you're going to be shredded by those kind of Galleon turrets that are far more effective than missiles. They just shred through everything. They're so brutal. So hope you guys enjoyed, guys, and bye.